What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Draymond Green Show with my dog, BD. What's happening, my brother? How you doing?
What's up, big dog? Man, good to see you, my bro. Come on.
It's good to see you too, man. I saw BD in San Francisco a few days ago. He kept me out past my bedtime. It was good to kick it with the fellas. BD kept me out past my bedtime. Didn't tell me to bring no dominoes, so in turn we end up sitting there amongst a group of maybe 6 of our guys playing dominoes on the phone like we some 17-year-olds that can't get our head out the phone.
An intense game of dominoes.
Intense. I can't wait to slam them things for real.
I can't wait, bro. That was fun, though.
Yes, it was.
I can't lie.
Yes, it was, brother.
Man, how you feeling?
I feel pretty good, bro. I'm a little tired. Like body-wise, I don't really sleep much after games, but my body, just getting back out there first time in like 3 weeks or so, 3.5 weeks or something like that, getting back out there against, my matchup being Paolo, switching off on the front. I got these 2 young savages coming at me in my return. So much for easing back into it. But I felt good out there. I felt really good defensively. Offensively, you know how I go, getting that time and the rhythm back. Kind of knowing when to shoot, when not to shoot, being ready to shoot. I think a lot of people don't realize like being shot ready. Coming back from injury and being shot ready is a thing. So I wasn't shot ready at all, getting my legs underneath me. But overall, I felt pretty good. Conditioning was solid.
Come on, man.
I had a 24, 25-minute restriction. They played me 29. I love it. I'll
29.
take it.
Come on. 29. Come on. We had 29. We had a crucial floater. We had the defensive stop on Paolo. We got the W. Man.
Yes, sir. That stop.
It felt good.
It felt really good.
Felt good.
Paolo is a guy who I got a lot of respect for his game. He just coming back from injury as well, and he was out a lot longer than I was. So you can tell he's still also working himself back into shape. Which I ain't too mad at him working himself back into shape tonight.
Let him take his time.
Absolutely.
Take
but Paolo is special, man. His ball skills, and when you combine that with the size that he has, and man, and I'm telling you, he when he perfect that jump shot, which I hope and think he will,
it's gonna be a
Watch out.
Because he really 6'10", huh?
Like a legit really 6'10", and also probably like not only is he 6'10", but he like probably 265.
Damn.
And he's solid. Like it ain't like he's like he 265 solid. Like he huge, man. When he perfect that jump shot, watch out NBA. Golly, he special talent, man. He get this spot raised up on, he got the you know what he is? He's a basketball player from Seattle. He just happened to be 6'10", 265. But he's a basketball player from Seattle. He got the handle, he got the pull up. Just give me the ball and let me hoop. He's a basketball player from Seattle at 6'10", 265. Good luck. But he a problem. But it was good to match up with him tonight. I know that a few years ago I was on the shop, and when I was on the shop, Mav was like, "Whose team that on the soft Tuesday you get up, y'all play against, and you just like it's hard to get up for?" And I was like, and Mav started naming a couple teams. He like the Magic. I'm like, yeah, like. So this team has had a thing against me since that. Which I don't mind. I respect. Jamal Mosley has done a great job with that group, and they were playing extremely well. And then they caught the injury bug, And so, tough team though. Tough team. They physical. They defend. Well coached. You know what I'm saying? So just keep looking. I'm looking at them to take that next step. And like I said, I think they was taking it this year, and then they just got bit by the injury bug.
Totally.
But they gonna be a team, a force to be reckoned with. We'll see how they keep it all together. Hasn't been a franchise that has done that in the past. But I think when you got two young stars at 6'9" and 6'10" like they do,
come on, dude.
I think you got to find a way to really build, and I think they're trying to do that. So it's fun to be out there against those guys.
They got talent for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely had a talent. Also, I heard that Steve Kerr broke a clipboard at halftime. What happened? And when was the last time he did something like that?
He broke the clipboard in the second quarter in the timeout. I want to say it was the second quarter. It could have possibly been the third quarter. No, it was the second quarter. He broke it in the timeout. He started yelling at us, and Steve, he punches the clipboard. One time I saw him do it before he cut his hand off. But Steve used to break clipboards all the time on us, man. Like in those glory days and like when we was like at the peak of our powers, if you will. He used to break clipboards on us. Oh, you guys are fucking bullshit. Snapped the clipboard and he started punching. Tonight he punched it. He punched the clipboard and shattered. And guys was like, whoa. It was funny because Steph said, well, only took him 49 games to break a clipboard. But he used to snap them clipboards all the time. But I always tell people, man, people don't realize because Steve is so mild-mannered, and he's like mild-mannered and just extreme level of patience, super chill. People don't understand how fiery Steve is. Like that's until I understand Steve fire, we used to bump heads because I didn't understand his fire and he didn't quite understand my fire. What we end up realizing is that we have the same fire and it would clash, and so once we learned that, like, no problem. Like, I don't know when the last time I got into an argument with Steve, but he has an incredible amount of fire inside, and he does a great job of channeling it. When it come out, it come out. And today, in that time out, it came out.
Yeah, Steve's tough, man. People forget. Steve had to chunk him. He went toe-to-toe and chunked him with Jordan.
Yes, he did.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, he did.
It don't get no more intense than that.
That part. You know how much shit you got to be talking as Steve Kerr to get under Michael Jordan's skin? Like that in itself, right? Like Michael Jordan, everybody trying to get under Michael Jordan. You know how much shit you got to be talking to get under his skin and end up fighting him? Like,
that's crazy.
But guess what? I guarantee you that day was the day he earned MJ respect.
Yep.
Because in true fashion, I'm sure, just like today, everybody bowed down to superstars. And for one guy to stand up to him and get to fight, like, regardless of what happened, I guarantee you that's the day he earned his respect.
For sure. That's what that's what happens when you're in an intense moment on the team.
You know what I'm saying?
And you're like, you know what? I belong here too, homie.
Absolutely.
Like I'm on this team too. So that gusto, that gusto come from something. That gusto come from that competitive nature, and you can see that. So, shout out to Steve Kerr. 49 games in, one broke clipboard. I can live with that.
All right, maybe we need you to break more of them, Stevie Kerr. Before we get into this episode, we are going to discuss the most shocking trade in NBA history involving AD and Luka. We're going to discuss D Fox to the Spurs. We're going to discuss the Jimmy Butler saga. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of these episodes.
That's right. Follow the show on all social media platforms at Draymond Show so you don't miss out on anything.
Let's move around this league. Man, start with what everybody been talking about. And I mean everybody reacting
Man.
to the Luka trade, Luka and AD trade. I saw a meme, by the way, it's such a shocking trade. I saw a meme that said, everybody's so shocked that Luka got traded that we acting like Anthony Davis is Hassan Whiteside. And that couldn't be more accurate. No disrespect to Hassan, because I think, for Hassan to go from a second-round pick to, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was an all-star. If not, he got really close.
Yep.
But I think he was a one-time all-star. But signing a $100 million contract, second-round pick, out the league, G League, whole thing, work his way back and do that. A lot of respect for Hassan and what he did in this league. So no disrespect to him, but I thought that meme was hilarious because everyone act like they didn't get Anthony Davis back. Like, and everybody like, oh, they should have got so many picks. Bro, they got Anthony Davis at 31.
Davis, bro. Yeah, you got AD. He damn near in every category. Like, he top 5 right now in every category.
And no disrespect to Luka, but Anthony Davis is a top 75 player in the NBA history. Luka's not that yet. Now, he has the potential to be that, and he will be 100 by the time, top 100 by the time the next one come out. But Anthony Davis is a perennial all-star, a top 75, and everyone acting like he's nobody, but nonetheless, I think it was very shocking. I personally was at the Warriors poker charity night when the trade went down, and I'm Steph's 2 tables behind me, and Steph goes, "Draymond, you see this?" I'm like, I had heard like the Warriors were looking at making some trades and all of that. So he goes, "You see this?" And I'm like, "See what?" He liked to trade. I said, "They did it?" I'm thinking he talking about it something that just came up with us. He like, Luka and AD. I said, huh?
What?
I walk around this table. He showed me the phone. I'm like, the question everyone had, is this real? Exactly. I look closer like, it's from Shams. It's real.
It's real.
It comes from Shams. You could bet your bottom dollar. It's real. Man, I was at a loss. I'm still at a loss for words.
I'm still like AI generated or like for real. Like it still hasn't hit. I think now it's starting to hit. Everybody's saying they farewells. But when you heard about the trade, like, why do you think the Mavericks would do a trade like this?
I think a couple reasons. Number one, where were you? I feel like this is one of those things that it's such a big deal that you will always remember where you were when it happened. Where were you when this trade went down?
I feel like I was I was chilling with my girl and she showed me.
That's crazy.
And I called bullshit. I was like, man, that's some bullshit. And then I looked and I was like, Shams.
Shams.
It's over.
It's real. It's real. So when I look at this trade, I think it happens for a couple of reasons. Number one, as great as Luka Doncic is, he was not drafted by the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, the current general manager.
That's true.
And so, as great as he is, general managers have in their mind how they see fit for a team that they construct and how they want it to work. How they see it working, how they see themselves getting to it and winning a championship. Now, the first thing people will say is, but Luka just went to the finals last year, so they close. And I'll say, I agree. Luka did go to the finals last year. But what I'll also say is, sometimes making it that far to the Western Conference Finals, sometimes that can be a little fool's gold. Look at the Atlanta Hawks. Was it 3 years ago, 3-4 years ago, going to the Eastern Conference Finals? barely has sniffed the playoff since. Sometimes it can be a little fool's gold when you make it that far. Now, I don't think Dallas was fool's gold. I think they made great trades mid-year last year, acquired P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford, who helped boost their lineup and put them in contention to compete for a championship. And they got there. They got close. Weren't quite able to close it. So now, when you look at that, as that general manager, you're going back to the drawing board and you're saying, what do we need to do in order to get over the hump? Quite honestly, I don't think anyone in the world would think the thing to do is trade Luka Doncic. I don't think anyone does that. But when I saw the trade, my first thought was Dallas must know something that we don't know.
I've been saying that.
They must know something. They must have some intel or something. You know, Luka's been dealing with a calf, right? Like, I'm like, they must have some intel or something that we don't quite know. So that's one of my first thoughts. Yeah, second thought is naturally like superstar players don't get traded in their prime at 25.
In the middle of the season.
I'm not even sure if he's considered in his prime yet, right? Like, but at 25, and you're right, at the trade deadline, like big trades like that.
That's crazy.
Don't normally happen at the trade deadline. And so when I look at it, I'd say Nico Harrison, who's the general manager of the Dallas Mavericks, for those that don't know, has, like, when I look at the makeup of his team, he gets a Kyrie Irving that everybody's afraid of. Everybody think Kyrie's off his rocker. Everybody think he won't be able to be talked to. However, due to being the guy at Nike for so many years, Nico already had a relationship with Kyrie, and he thought to himself, I can deal with Kyrie. So I'm going to go get Kyrie. And guess what? It's been stellar. Kyrie's been stellar. He's been locked in. So, operation successful. So there's that. You didn't give up a ton to get him, right? Like, so operation successful.
Super.
So now when I look at that, and then I take a step back and look at this trade, my first thought is, or second thought, here's a guy who you see the Lakers say, they're worried a little bit about AD's durability. They don't think he's a 1A guy, X, Y, and Z. But then you got Nico Harrison, who's like, yeah, y'all may not think he's a 1A guy, but what I know for sure is he's a 1A talent.
Yeah.
And so with my relationship, with Jay Kidd's relationship, because he played, Jay Kidd was on the coaching staff when they won the championship in 2020. Nuts. Jared Dudley's relationship with AD. I think we can get AD to play at that 1A level consistently. And I think that's the bet that they're making. But more importantly, the bet that they're making is if this ship is going to go down, if I'm going to go down, if I'm Nico Harrison, what I see is him saying, I'm going to go down with someone I trust, not necessarily someone that the GM before me trusts. And yes, Luka's a superstar. Yes, Luka's great. But Luka was never Nico's guy.
That's true.
And now Nico is bringing in his guy and saying, I'm going to swing for the fences. And if I fail, I fail. But I fail doing it my way. And you got to respect someone who's willing to take that stance.
I agree, dude. He is doing it the way he want to do it, right? Something about the Luka thing, even though they went to the finals, I think for him, it was there needs to be a final piece, right? I think they also experienced like, hey, Dallas got cracking, Dallas got hot in the playoffs, Luka got hot in the playoffs, but it was really the team that played so well, right? That allowed Luka to be Luka in Luka moments. And then also when Luka was dialed into the success of the team, right? Trying to play defense, trying to do the different things on the defensive end. That's when they won.
Yep.
Those are the games that they want. And you get to the finals and you look and you say, hey, man, my superstar is being put on an island by this entire roster.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We are vulnerable. If he does not defend, right, if he does not take up on this leadership responsibility in the finals, we don't have a chance. And I think Nico saw that. And when you see somebody like AD, you looking at, if I had AD in that game with the squad we had, with the way we play, we got a better chance of winning that series on the defensive end with somebody like AD. And then stacking the deck, now you're the biggest team in the West.
Yep.
You got the most size, you athletic in the front court. You know, it unlocks Kyrie to go be Kyrie again, right? You got Clay over there that can be a great compliment to Kyrie. So I think the 80 for Dallas is their upgrade now.
Yes.
We need to go now. Everything, we putting all our chips on the table. We need to go now. This 25-year-old kid, right? We don't know if we built this team for him. This team is not necessarily constructed and built for Luka, right? And for the future of Luka. So you would have had to continue to make iterations and keep moving pieces to figure out, okay, is this the right fit? Because you got, not that you got lucky last year, you earned and deserved everything, but there was some teams that were tired, teams that were hurt, right? And this year is way different. You see the fatigue, right? You see the coming back from the Olympics, you got to know something.
Yeah.
Like, it's too much wear and tear. Where is he going to be at 30 versus AD at 35? Like, who's going to have, over the next 3 or 4 years, who's going to have that window of longevity? And we're going to see where these dudes kind of measure out.
Yep, that's a fact. And I think when you even look at Nico's press conference and stuff, the one thing I respect the most is he's standing on it. He gave his reason why.
He's standing on it.
And he said, listen, what I thought was a very, very bold statement, and like I said, I respect it. He said, listen, we will see if I was right or wrong. Pretty much saying, I know that this move is either going to make me a long tenure GM, or it's going to get me fired. And we'll see if I'm right or wrong. And I respect that. I will say, listen, anybody that make a move like that and they stand on it.
Woo! Hey, dude, Jason Kidd was not, he was in the meeting like, I ain't going. Hey, dude, Jason Kidd, I'd never seen Jason Kidd like that. He was like,
Jay Kidd looked like he had just saw a ghost. He looked like he
man,
saw a ghost.
I gotta be here. I gotta be here. I ain't got nothing to say. He was in shock. That is the face of a coach in shock. What do you think what do you think is going on in Jay Kidd mind, just based off that press conference? What is he thinking? What is he contemplating?
What he's thinking is he has to change his entire offense. That a guy you could just give the ball to and let him go figure it out is gone.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to sit there. He's sitting there trying to process what it is, like that's in front of him, what it is that just happened. Like, I think Jay Kidd was all over the place, sitting there because, again, also like Nico said it, like Jay Kidd didn't know. Right, so like even being in the dark, like you start thinking of. I think Jay Kidd's sitting there thinking about all of that. It was you just see the look on his face was crazy.
Why didn't you tell me? Just tell me, homie. Don't let me sit like this.
I respect it though because they are right. Like you see Shams get stories and like a lot of people that be leaking stuff these days. Like it's not like you just got 4 coaches anymore. Like I think our coaching
Right.
staff may be 20 guys.
That's
And so
crazy.
all of a sudden, you tell your coach, and he tell his guy on the coaching staff, and he go tell his young guy on the coaching staff, right? And all of a sudden, they get back to Shams, and then it don't go through. Now, if you're Dallas and you're secretly trying to trade Luka and it don't go through,
that's
now you got a
gonna be tight.
real issue, you know. And so I think I understood it, right? Like everybody's like, oh man, like, how could you not say this to J Kidd? How could you not? But like in a situation like that, where
you can't tell nobody.
You can't tell anybody. And we live in this world where people tell everything. People show you their location, exactly where they at, when they there, right? We live in this world where everything gets leaked to the media. So the one time that something don't get leaked, people trying to say that's crazy. No, that's how actually things probably should be. Like, if you're doing something to better your team and you're trying to make a trade, it's probably best that you don't say that to anyone. And so I think in looking at that, I think I would hope that one of the main takeaways for people is keep your mouth shut. Like, that deal Luka Doncic got traded and it was quiet, which means everybody else can shut the hell up. Like, stop sharing every little secret you have to, like, try to get a leg up or gain a friend. Like, I don't understand it. So I respect the way they did it. Did they get the most value that they could get for Luka? People are like, oh, they could have got 3 picks or they could have got 4. They got Anthony Davis.
Bingo.
And a first-round pick.
Bingo.
That, you know, we'll see how it goes. Nonetheless, like, if they wanted to flip Anthony Davis right now, they could flip Anthony Davis for 4 first-round picks.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So it's not like they can't get the first-round picks if they wanted the picks, but they trying to win now. And they got a guy who helps them win now. Not to mention, they just put him next to a center, which he loves. He loves playing next to a center. And they just put him next to a big-ass center in Daniel Gafford and a big-ass center in Derek Lively, right? So that kills those problems for AD. Listen, man, I think in a situation like that where you traded Luka, I'm not sure there's many guys that they could have got back that you go from wherever they were in the West to, like, people saying, oh, that's the best team in the West. Like, they traded Luka Doncic, and people are saying it's the best team in the West now.
Best team.
But then on the flip side, like, you got people like, oh, that's still the dumbest trade. Well, how are they the best team in the West, but it's the dumbest trade ever? Like, I don't quite understand that. Nonetheless, I feel for Luka because you've poured into that community. You have taken that city on, made it home, and, like, out of nowhere blindly get traded. I do feel bad for him because that's the shitty side of the NBA. Like, if Luka came out and was like, yo, I want to be traded, there'd be this huge uproar of like,
they would.
You know what I'm saying? Another star player want to leave the team and, like, we need to stop this. But this man gets traded in the dark in the middle of the night. He literally got traded after midnight.
That's crazy.
Eastern time, after midnight. Right in the middle of the night, Luka Doncic got traded in the dark.
Luka Doncic got traded.
It's crazy. Like, I feel for Luka. You know, I think Luka, if I'm not mistaken, I think he just had a kid. You know, and so, like,
just bought a house too.
I heard he just bought a new crib. Like, and that makes sense because his home had just got broken into. So I'm sure he was probably moving somewhere with more security or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, I do feel bad for him. You know, and Luka is not a guy that's going to come out and say something. He not. I saw his dad say something, but Luka not a guy that's going to come out and say something. So I do feel a little bad. I feel bad for Luka for sure.
Okay, I don't feel bad for Luka. Why? You going to the Lakers, baby?
Oh, that's.
Ooh, you coming to the land? Come on, you an international superstar, a megastar. Now it's rock and roll time. A lot of them games that we was hearing about or didn't see, we get to see that, and you know how Laker fans are. They gonna take it up times 10.
Mm-hmm.
Now with Luka. You have time.
Yes.
The Lakers have bought themselves a great opportunity to build now, to compete now. and start to mobilize how they want to be in the future
Yeah. No, that's a
around
fact.
a superstar.
At 25.
So I think at 25 years old, who do you think won the trade?
In the
We don't know yet,
interim,
right?
in the interim, right now, today, Anthony Davis, the Dallas. Because, and the reason I say that's a made team. You got Luka if you're the Lakers now, but now you don't have a big.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have a starting caliber center. And so I think for them now, they have to figure out how to build the team, right? Like you got Bron, you got Luka, you got Austin Reeves, but now you got to like figure out how to build the team out. So now they'll need to at some point get a big, right? And so I think as of right now, currently as it stands today, you lace them up, you go out there and play tomorrow, it's Dallas. But I don't think this was a move that the Lakers was making to say we're betting right now for today. I think what the Lakers thought was this team ain't great. We're not winning the championship. We got a chance to get Luka Doncic. This gives us a chance to possibly sign a couple guys and compete right now with Luka and LeBron, but also gives us a chance to compete to where with Luka now, that 2027 draft pick ain't going to be as high as people thought it was. 2029 probably won't be high as people thought it was, either with adding Luka to this roster. So I think, currently as it stands, the Mavs, but this is a right now and long-term play for the Lakers. And so I think as they build the team out, then that can change. But they're going to need to build a team out now. And also, before we say something else, shout out to my young fella, Max Christie.
That's right.
Had earned himself into the starting lineup. I think now for Max, Max is going to a team that's more loaded in that position now, so he got to go figure his way out. Nonetheless, he a Spartan dog. He going to do things out there that a lot of those other guys ain't going to do because they ain't been coached by Tom Izzo. So I believe he'll figure it out either way.
Yeah, I believe that was kind of like the caveat in the deal. Watching Max Christie, his evolution, JJ playing him. I saw why they drafted him. I saw his potential, and now moving that piece over to Dallas, complimenting Klay Thompson, right? Being over there complimenting Klay Thompson because Max gonna play some defense. Max can score. He can cut. He cut to the basket. He athletic, right? So Dallas is now getting not only AD, but they getting a young dog.
Yes,
right. They got another young dog that can fit into that ecosystem and what they building.
100%. And here's the thing, like when you look at the NBA and a lot of things that I think fans don't understand is like contracts, your contract matters.
Yeah, it does.
And so, for instance, Max just signed a 4-year, $32 million deal. He's going to get an opportunity, and he'll probably get the opportunity over Quentin Grimes because he has a meaningful contract. And that's where I don't think, like I said, I don't think people understand how much that matters. When you like, oh, that guy should have signed for less. Like, yeah, you signed for less. You're also setting yourself up to get screwed because you signed for less. Your value is no longer as high as it was. If you're not in a certain position and you sign for less, you can screw yourself. And so here's why I think like Max signing that deal actually gives him more security than just financial security. It gives him more security to get an opportunity or 2 or 3 because he got the contract. And so I think
totally.
and I think with an opportunity, he figures it out. Spartan dog, that's what we do.
I agree. I also wanted to dial in the Utah Jazz, right? They didn't even know that Luka was being traded. Can you explain how is that possible for them to be involved in the trade and then not know somebody being traded? At that point, do you just wake up and be like, man, who the Lakers and the Dallas, who can we call to get some picks? Call Utah. Boom, call Utah. You want some draft picks?
Yep.
You got to take it.
Take Hush Feeder. Listen, here's what I will say about that, BD. Rob Pelinka
It's crazy.
It is a little on the lines of morally fucked up what he did, but I understand why he did it.
Yeah,
but it's a little along the lines of,
bro.
You know how someone do something and you like, well, they didn't break a law, so they can't go to jail. But morally, that's fucked up. And I think Rob Pelinka is right there teetering that line of
dude.
you didn't quite do anything wrong, but morally, I don't think Danny Ainge's going to ever work with him again. Because,
no, for sure.
Like, who knows if Danny would have did the deal or not? But you didn't give me the choice. And I think that's going to put a strain on their working relationship. Because how many times, you tell me this, BD, how many times have you seen the wool get pulled over Danny Ainge's head? Danny Ainge do the wool pulling.
Very seldom. Very seldom in his tenure.
Rob Pelinka and Nico Harrison pulled the wool over his head. So
and then it's the Lakers too.
Yeah.
So Danny Ainge and the Lakers don't get along.
Danny Ainge ain't trying to help no Lakers. He's a Boston Celtic. Not at all. He's a Boston Celtic. He's not trying to help those guys.
Deep down inside, at all.
Come on, man. So for those people out there, I'm not a general manager, but how I would imagine that happen is if you call and you're just like, yo, we're trying to get off Hood-Schifino, young guy, we'll give up 2 second-round picks. And Danny Ainge is just going to take them because he's taking all those draft picks right now, then it don't matter.
Wait, time out. Are you saying, hold on, I think I know what you said. Did Rob Pelinka call Danny Ainge and make the trade and didn't tell him nothing about this?
1,000%. 1,000%.
Oh, that is
Hey,
dude.
But here's the thing, though, BD. Here's how he can get away with it, though. I'm gonna tell you how he can get away with it. Because in that deal, the only thing that went to Utah was Hood-Schifino and 2 second-round picks from the Lakers.
And some picks,
from the Lakers. Like it wasn't like it was Dallas pick or Dallas.
You didn't have to give up nothing.
No, the picks came from the Lakers, so you didn't have to let him know that there was a third team involved because everything that Utah received came from the Lakers. But man, that's a little.
Oh man, he got fleeced. Hey, dog. That is borderline. That is wee.
Like I said, BD.
See, that's when you gotta come knock on Danny Ainge may have to see Rob, be like, hey, bro, I gotta come knock on your door, homie.
You
can't you owe me one. That's one of them, you owe me one.
Like you owe me one for sure. This is Luka Doncic, man. This ain't like they made a trade work.
Can you imagine?
They ain't make a trade work for they had traded for Rui last year. It ain't like they made the trade work for Rui. This is Luka Doncic, man. Like,
hey, dude, they went over there and fleeced.
And you say
fleeced
nothing?
Danny Ainge.
Wow.
He fleeced Danny Ainge.
For sure.
Whoa.
You don't see that happen to Danny often. You don't see that happen to Sam Presti often, right? Like, wow. A job
Imagine
well done.
waking up. Yeah, it was incredible. Good job, Rob Pelinka. He got that off.
Absolutely.
Hey, he really got that off. Hey, Danny Ainge, I got these 2 picks and Hood-Schifino. Hey, what you thinking? Oh man, what? Man, let me give you those.
Yeah.
He's like, thank you.
Thank you. Got 2 more picks.
Woo! Let me call Nico. Nico is done.
Hey.
Nico is done. It's done. I got Utah involved. They're gonna take. Oh man.
Hey, 30 minutes
Rob
later,
Pelinka.
they come across Danny Ainge ticket. Luka Doncic traded to the Los Angeles.
Hey, you know
Lakers.
Danny Ainge is hot.
What?
You know, he is. He even said it. He basically said he had no idea that he was helping the Lakers.
That's crazy.
Get Luka Doncic.
Right.
He had no idea.
And then he said,
time to prepare.
by the time he found out, it was too late. That is crazy. Crazy.
Bro, you can never do another deal with the Utah Jazz if you're the Lakers unless you go give them something. You gotta go get that man something back later in a couple of years to be like, hey man, no hard feelings.
You have to. Absolutely. It's crazy. Yeah, but speaking of this trade, how do you think this trade affects Bron?
I think it buys Bron time. Right? I think LeBron now has a new focus. He now gets to go out as the guru, the mentor, the sensei, right? And then he still has, 3-4 years or 2 or 3 years with Luka to figure out what their dynamic is. Because look, you got LeBron, you got Luka. You ain't doing bad.
Yeah.
You ain't doing bad. You can be a contender. You can be a contender if you put the right pieces in place. But a LeBron James, a Luka Doncic, backcourt or front court cornerstones of the front court, backcourt. Come on, man. And LeBron giving him that ism, I think it probably breathes new life into LeBron. Because remember, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, we was talking about either LeBron needs to play the point or LeBron needs to play the 4.
Yeah.
Now you got somebody like Luka coming in. LeBron don't have to score the points.
Yeah.
Like LeBron ain't got to come up and be like, man, I got to get 30, 12. LeBron is getting triple doubles at 40. And when you look at the Lakers play, he get a triple double. AD was getting 36, 16, and they winning by 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
They barely winning. They struggling. Whomever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whoever. So now that's 70. That could be 70.
Yeah.
LeBron can sit and really watch a offensive barrage of 1. Right?
That's a fact.
Luka is a 50-point party waiting to happen. And so now LeBron 23, 13. LeBron get to go paint and fix the game to his liking. So I think it works both ways because LeBron can set the stage, and then now LeBron got another closer.
Yes.
A real closer.
Absolutely.
He got a real closer, somebody who is going to take that shot. So he get to see a different part of himself where no pressure on him now. All pressure is just him being a sensei.
I agree. I think it does a couple things, though. I think it definitely takes the pressure off of him. I think it possibly buys Bron more time if he want to even play longer.
Yep.
I think, although he don't need anybody to do that, but I think it helps. But I also think it could speed his time up. And the reason being is they all in on Luka, right? So, if it's not working, it's not
LeBron's the next.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like Luka goes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
well,
we're going to build around Luka, so then let's have a conversation, Brian. You know what I'm saying? And so, however, Luka Doncic pick and roll being set by and the screen being set by LeBron James, good luck.
Come on.
Like, that's
crazy.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
But I think it definitely, it has to work better than just them losing every game. Because you still got LeBron James and Luka Doncic on the roster. So you still got to win games. And it has to work better than just losing every game, or else I think, they're going to have a conversation with Bron, because they're going to have that conversation because they didn't even let you in that they were making this trade. So they're doing this strictly based off of what the franchise think, which means for me, I personally think the next thing they do is going to be strictly based off what's best for the franchise and not necessarily what's best for Bron. I also think it kind of like say Bron was going to do a farewell tour like Kobe did, like D-Wade did. It kind of throws a monkey wrench in it because
it does.
It's I don't know. I just think it kind of throws a bit of a monkey wrench, and if Bron wanted to decide to do a farewell tour, because as big as Bron is, and he's huge, and I think he deserves whatever the hell he want to do, it's not going to all be about Bron. Like you think of Kobe farewell tour, I think they won 18 games or something. Like, but everything was about Kobe. It ain't gonna be that way about Bron. It's D Wade, the Heat, they might have gotten snuck in the playoffs, but it wasn't. They weren't great, you know what I'm saying? But everything was made about D Wade, and so I think it could throw a monkey wrench in that.
It's gonna get overshadowed for sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely gonna get overshadowed. Okay, here's a bold take. If this does not work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trade Luka play. You make the playoffs. Who knows? Next year, if this shit don't work with Bron, what happens? Does LeBron leave, or do the Lakers say, "Hey, this is the final piece to move to figure out this roster for Luka"?
I think if anything's going to happen with Bron, as far as leaving the Lakers, I think it happens this summer. I don't think it's a next year thing because I also don't think I don't think you're going to. He don't have time, but I also don't think you're going to see a LeBron James trade midseason.
No.
We were shocked by this one, but I just can't foresee that. Like, we made a go at it last year, and the one reason it didn't happen is because you just weren't going to get a LeBron James moving mid-season, and so I think if anything happens, it happens this coming summer. I don't think it's wait till next deadline and see it ain't working. I don't foresee that. I don't foresee it going that way.
What is so what is the domino effect, right, of this trade to the NBA?
Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe, huh?
And if you're a general manager, you calling on Giannis, you calling on Steph Curry, you calling on LeBron James, you calling on Wemby, you calling on guys
might as well.
You don't even think you have a chance at it. Now, if you're a GM, I think the way that this plays out moving forward is you're going to now start seeing more young, promising talent get traded because you're going to just get more calls. And as opposed to before, like, nobody's calling and like, yo, y'all trying to trade Steph, or y'all trying to trade women. Nobody's calling and saying, you're going to get those calls now all the time of people just throwing shit at a wall and seeing if it sticks.
Man,
like, that's kind of the way I think one of the biggest impacts on the NBA. And then let's face it, you got Luka Doncic and Laker purple and gold.
That's crazy.
That's massive. Like,
that's massive.
It's the Lakers brand, and now with Luka Doncic in it, you talking about globally, like, it's a real thing.
And LA.
Yeah.
And LA.
Los Angeles.
There's a real community here. And it's a real diverse community for him. That it's a European vibe here for him. It's a more welcoming vibe for him. So, man, damn.
Yeah, I think it changed it for sure.
It's a good, it's a huge domino effect. I also wanted to pinpoint Dallas was smart because they got off that Supermax.
Yeah.
Because that Supermax is going to kill a lot of teams. Like you were saying, you're going to see a lot of young dudes get traded because now it's like they coming up on that Supermax and it's like, yo, in 5 years, is this dude going to be worth $100 million a year?
Yeah. You know what this goes back to, BD? On the Draymond Green show before I was blessed to have you come on and partner on this show and bring a whole different life and take to this show. When I just used to be sitting here by myself talking to a camera.
Draymond Damas.
Absolutely. I spoke about, and I went on a tweet storm about how fucking dumb, stupid the CBA that we were going to sign as players. When it first leaked that we were going to agree to a deal and they leaked the terms, I went on this whole tweet storm and I spoke on the pod about how dumb that CBA was. And you see Luka Doncic getting traded, don't not for 1 second think that that's also not a byproduct of that dumbass CBA we signed. you put in a hard cap. The second apron is a hard cap. Like,
yeah.
And every time somebody get up that second apron, you can bet your bottom dollar they're going to be trying to trade out of that second apron. Mm-hmm. And so you just saw Luka Doncic get traded at 25.
That's crazy.
That is a byproduct of the second apron. Dallas like, man, we're going to have to pay him $85 million a year. All right. He good. He great. But
ain't no money for nobody else.
We about to go into the second apron? No, we ain't trying to go into the second apron. Right? And so Luka Doncic getting traded, and what I have not seen anyone talk about is 1,000,000% a byproduct of
the
cap situation in the second apron. It is 1,000%. And I don't think people notice or realize that, but you're going to see more and more trades like that because that second apron, man, it's just a nice way of saying a hard cap.
Yeah, it's just a crazy threshold. It puts the team in a bad predicament. Obviously, it's incredible for the player, but if you trying to build and you trying to win, and your top two dudes is taking all the bread, you're not, and you're paying them off potential.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
you're paying them off of, hey, over these next 5, we're paying you off of potential. I just think that, that hard cap, and like you saying that second apron, a lot of people are going to start falling in that second apron, and it's going to give the team it's just going to be so much player movement because people are going to try to avoid that, and you're going to lose loyalty from your young superstars.
This isn't a little itty-bitty, teeny-tiny bowl. It's the Super Bowl. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. Scoring touchdowns is the key to hoisting the Vince Lombardi Trophy, and you have a shot to score big by betting on them at DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. New DraftKings customers can bet just $5. That's it, $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Takes 90 seconds max. Please use the code Colin, C-O-L-I-N. Use that code, C-O-L-I-N, for new customers. You're going to get $200 in bonus bets, and you'll get it instantly. All you have to do is bet $5. That's it. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
The next huge trade, right, that happened over the weekend, pretty much one we saw coming. De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs, Zach LaVine to the Kings. But before we talk about this trade, I just want to know, who is running the Bulls? Why don't they care about their franchise? I believe Zach is worth way more than what they got for him. And I don't understand really what the Bulls, I mean, the Bulls is a swap meet. I would go over there and they could be fleeced easily.
You could have fleeced them out of Zach a year ago if you wanted to. The thing I don't understand is they kind of go through this with everybody. But are you surprised?
Not at
this
all.
Is the same franchise that said, oh, Michael Jordan, oh, you said you want to choose the coach? Well, then we are getting rid of you so you can walk. This is the same franchise that let Michael Jordan just walk to retirement. Like,
they are diabolical,
right?
Dude.
Michael Jordan. This is the black cat, the Michael Jordan. Your airness, like this is him. Like, it's really him.
This league is crazy.
It's not the ghost of Michael Jordan they let walk.
Yeah,
they let Michael Jordan himself walk, and so
in his prime,
just won 3 championships in a row. Like, they let him walk, and so. I can't say that I'm surprised by anything that the Bulls does that's not smart, because that's also a franchise that their head coach told them to draft Draymond Green, and they didn't, and so I think, it's just not a smart franchise. Like, they don't do smart things, and that's been proven time and time again. And so you let Zach pretty much get out of town for a bag of donuts. And I just think you could have done way better than that. But also, Like, what did they get in the sign and trade for DeMar this summer? You essentially let him walk for nothing, right? Like
nothing.
You once had the great Derrick Rose, and obviously he went through the injuries. You got nothing for D Rose, like
nothing for that.
And so when you look at this team, it'll be interesting to see if they trade Vucevic, what they get for him. Probably nothing, because they're just not good, and you're letting these guys walk, like essentially for nothing. Like so pretty much you never end up accumulating any assets, and they end up back in the same spot.
Yeah, you don't draft well. You didn't draft well. You didn't draft well. You didn't draft based on needs or based on future picks. They're just picking talent. I want to see Lonzo out of there too. I think that's how they drafted.
Who's that? All right. We'll take this guy.
Who's next?
Got him. That one right there. That's how they drafted.
They forfeiting their time. It's like 5 seconds. 4. Come on, man. We got something to pick in.
It's crazy, man. Like running out of time. Get it. Him.
Oh, they on auto drive.
I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. So, I'm just not sure how they just keep letting guys walk like that. But
Kings came up though.
Came up to where?
Well, you get 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
Right? 25, 27, 31. 3 second-round picks, 25, 28, and 28 back-to-back. And Zach LaVine. So I think the Kings got some equity in that deal.
I definitely think they're doing. Let's face it, this 2025 Charlotte pick is going to be incredible.
That's going to be a great pick.
Oh my God.
That could be Cooper Flag.
I was going to say could be the number 1. That's incredible. 2027 San Antonio Spurs pick is going to be trash.
It's going to be trash, yeah.
2031 Minnesota pick is going to be good.
Could be a good pick.
Because
Minnesota's trash.
Well, let's face it, is Ant-Man still in Minnesota? With what we've seen just happen last night. Is Ant-Man still in Minnesota in 6 years from now?
Nope.
Right? Like, so
they're gonna do this. They got to do the same thing they do with Luka, right?
Absolutely. So let's face it. So like that pick may not be great either. So they definitely got some great picks. They got some second-round picks, a 2025 Chicago pick, which is going to be probably pick 32. Like 33, 34, or possibly 35, the best pick in the NBA draft. You 35th pick. You get the 35th pick. You come up on hidden gems.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on, man. So, that part.
So that'll probably be a good one. They got their own pick back, second round pick in 2028. Right. So they definitely made out well, for sure. The Kings made out well. But what they're going to have to figure out is
they can't all play. All them dudes can't play together.
Not only can they all play together, but where it'll be interesting to see how far this team goes. Because if you're not going far, I could foresee them by the summertime having a fire sale, or by next trade deadline having a fire sale. And so it'll be interesting to see like how they play. But I can't imagine, and I'm a huge Zach LaVine fan. I think Zach is great, but you lost your franchise point guard.
Yep.
You don't just lose your franchise point guard and get better. You traded Tyrese Halliburton and kept Fox, and now you trade Fox away. It could be a fire sale in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, Malik Monk is the point guard.
Yeah.
Malik Monk, the point guard, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Sabonis. That's their starting 5. I don't see a lot of. I mean, if they can figure out, if Christie can figure out a style where their small ball can work, and they can be able to move the ball between DeMar, Zach, Monk, maybe.
Yeah.
But a lot of those dudes, outside of Zach, really need the ball in their hand to create. DeMar is methodical. He like to chop you up. He on ISO. Malik, he play at a different frequency than DeMar. And then Zach, he plays in a little bit in between both, but who taking all these shots?
Yeah.
Because all Keegan Murray do is shoot.
That's kind of all he does.
It's known
like
for
that's
all he do.
He shoot the ball.
yeah.
And so, but he hasn't shot it that great this year.
Ain't no open looks for
yeah,
him. But you know what? It ain't no open looks.
True.
Now it really ain't gonna be no open looks for him.
That's true.
Because you don't have drive and catch piece of the paint guys. You have ISO guys.
Mm-hmm.
So that means you got to wait for somebody to get hot to get a double team to get open, right?
After what I just saw, BD, I'm calling on Sabonis. I'm calling on DeMar. I'm calling on Zach. I'm calling on Monk. I'm calling on Keegan. After what we just witnessed, if I'm a GM and I want any of those guys, I'm calling right away.
Yep.
Because they could then make a decision to be like, you know what, we can't win with this team. Let's just move Sabonis. You know, like you just don't know. So if I'm a general manager,
you never know with Zach. Yeah,
I'm calling and I'm asking for their whole team and then seeing where they land and just see what. Maybe I want something, maybe I don't, but I'm definitely calling.
All right, I got one for you. Sacramento Kings, who's one of your favorite organizations, versus the Bulls.
Zach.
Who's made the worst? Who's made the worst decisions?
Well, let's see. I want to say the Bulls, but
it's probably Zach.
Zach did pass Luka Doncic, pass up on Luka Doncic. So you got to take that into account.
Yep.
They passed up on Luka Doncic. They traded DeMarcus Cousins at the time as their franchise center for Buddy Love.
Buddy Love.
I don't even remember who else was in the trade.
Buddy Love.
You traded the franchise.
Buddy Love.
My dog, Buddy Love. You traded a franchise center at the time, probably arguably the best center in the game at that time.
Yep.
So you traded him.
You traded Halliburton.
You traded Tyrese Halliburton and you got Sabonis.
Nothing.
You got Sabonis.
Oh, yeah, you did get Sabonis.
You got Sabonis back in that trade. So
yes.
I think that's been beneficial for them, right? Like Sabonis has been very beneficial for them. So I'll give them that one.
You picked up DeMar.
Yeah. Which
it didn't work.
I can't necessarily say it didn't work. It's worked.
Well, it blew up. Well, it blew up.
Well, now what it could have done is possibly made Fox be like, I want out. You know, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how does that work? You get DeMar, you got Fox here, and then you don't take care of you're not building around a core of Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, and DeMar.
Mm-hmm.
You're not building around that. So all the other pieces and the dudes that you have, they don't complement those dudes' game.
That's a fact.
Together, right?
And their bench, they lack some depth.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd have to say the Bulls.
The Bulls for sure.
Yeah.
Just over the legacy, just legacy wise.
Yeah, Sack passed up on Luka Doncic, but the Bulls told Michael Jordan deuces.
And Derrick Rose.
And D Rose. They can never let us down. The Bulls, I gotta go. I gotta say that. The Bulls traded Jimmy Butler before his prime.
Yeah.
Again, I gotta go with the Bulls, man. They are atrocious. Atrocious to say the least.
Damn, Bulls, get your life together. What do you think about Wemby and Fox teaming up?
I like it a lot. You talking about Fox downhill in the pick and roll with Wemby popping or rolling to the rim for the lob. That's tough. Like, you got this is a proper big man point guard that we used to see back in the old days.
Mm-hmm.
This is it. This is proper. And they're in a franchise that know how to make that work. And so I like it. I know that was one of the reasons Fox turned the extension down is because I think he wanted to end up in San Antonio with Wemby. So you see the
smart.
You see the power of Rich Paul. A lot of these guys want to be traded And, you know, a lot of people think like, oh, man, I could be my own agent and I can do this, or my boy can be my agent, or this agent that I just want to focus on me can be my agent. The power of having a proper agent. De'Aaron Fox got exactly to the place he wanted to end up less than 3 months after turning down the extension. He got exactly where he wanted to go.
That's crazy.
After turning down an extension 3-4 months ago. If you're not like that right there is what you talk about power in an agent. Like getting him exactly to the place he wanted to go. Didn't cause a fuss, didn't cause a ruckus.
At all.
Just got it done. Made sure he got to exactly where he wanted to go. Not, we're going to get him traded to this place, and then in a year we can get you to San Antonio, you come up. No, we're going to get you there right now.
Right now.
The power of having a great agent. And I know Fox just signed with Clutch maybe a little over a year ago. And he immediately has reaped the benefits of being with such an incredible agent. So shout out to Rich Paul too, just getting that done, getting Fox, making sure Fox ended up exactly where he wanted to go. That, my friends, is a great agent. So as you see players struggle with things like this, know that you don't have to look any further than their representation. Just like representation can get guys better contracts than they deserve, representation can have guys stuck in a situation or ending up in a situation they don't want to be in.
Totally. Well, you ain't got no leveraging, no bargaining chips, and the team don't even have no respect to have a real conversation with your agent. So definitely shout out to Rich Paul, because Rich Paul make moves. Rich Paul be making moves.
Yes, he does.
And he fight.
One thing he gonna do is fight for his players. As long as, and he'll tell you, as long as I got you lockstep with me, Usaba, I'll fight till we can't fight no more. And I think I appreciate it about Rich is he'll also tell you when it ain't smart to fight. Tell you like, Dre, I don't think it's a good fight on this one. Like, it may cost this, and this. Like, I don't know if we fight a fight we should be fighting. You know, and so he'll also tell you that. So
he shout out to Rich. We was at a party this summer, and he had one of his young players with him, and he was like, BD, I'm gonna bring my young fella over here. I want you to really talk to him like how you talk. You know, you talk your shit. Talk to him. Brought the young dude over. We chopped it up. And then he was like, man, get his number. Get BD number. Like he was adamant about, he was like, bro, this dude needs to be hearing from you. Like he one of them ones. It's like,
he respect the game.
Yeah, and he a silverback.
Yeah.
So like
for sure.
he need to talk. He needs to be talking to somebody that keep him motivated, but also be like, hey, look, homie. You know what I mean? Look, homie, it's your time to shine. So I respect Rich because he just care about, hey, I need my players to get here. Whoever they need to connect with, like, I always love that about him. So shout out to Rich Paul. Shout out to De'Aaron Fox and Wemby. This duo gonna be crazy.
Yes,
bro.
it is. Yes, it is. I think,
and they got talent in San Antonio.
Absolutely,
they got some talent.
You know, me tell you what I think one of the biggest heights is of this trade deadline so far.
What?
That they were able to get De'Aaron Fox and not include Stephon Castles.
Ooh, that was big.
That's insane.
That was big. That's big.
They got De'Aaron Fox and did not include Castle.
Castle was nice.
Like you talking about one to trade. That's why I'm like, Spurs, give up the picks. It don't matter. You got your core.
Yeah.
Like now you just need to fine tune. But you got your core. And the oldest one is 27?
That's crazy.
26?
That's your vet.
27? Like, so I commend them. R.C. Buford, Coach Pop, Coach Pop doing well. They held on to Stephon Castle and got De'Aaron Fox.
That dude is a gem.
That's
a hell of a gem. I mean, great teams make great moves.
1,000%.
Right? Great teams make great moves. And the San Antonio Spurs, that organization has always been upper echelon. even when they were losing.
Mm-hmm.
It was integrity behind it.
Always.
It wasn't like, yo, we're gonna be sorry for the rest of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, we're gonna get generational talent.
Yeah.
And they were trying to figure it out with the talent they had. They moved DeMar in there. Now they moved CP to complement Wemby. Now you got De'Aaron Fox.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
It's a bigger game.
That's a fact.
Also this weekend, it was reported that Jimmy Butler told the Warriors that he's unwilling to sign an extension there. I'm kind of out the Jimmy Butler business. Jimmy Butler communicated to the Warriors that he was unwilling to sign an extension there, and therefore trade talks sending him to go to state pretty much stalled. What was your reaction when you see a report like this?
My reaction I'm a fan of the NBA, right? I'm a fan of basketball, so a lot of these things I look at through a fan lens.
Mm-hmm.
Not, I played for the Golden State Warriors. And this one in particular,
Right.
When I saw this, I just was like, man, Jimmy got to be really careful because you continue to lessen the amount of teams that will be willing to take you on. At some point, Pat may just say, I'm sending you to Toronto.
Bingo.
Or it's like something like that. So when I saw that, I was like, man, Jimmy got to be really careful because and again,
it can get tricky for Jimmy.
It can get
real tricky.
For
it
sure.
can get real tricky for him.
Like you could end up.
You could be back at the Bulls, bro.
You could end up without a market.
You can be back at the Bulls. You could be the superstar dude on a terrible team, and they just waiting for your contract to expire, right? And they gave up some picks just to be able to get off your money in 2 years to get ready for for their draft or they rebuild, and you don't hold any value.
Yeah.
So you playing with like, oh, I'm gonna go to the contender, but I ain't gonna sign no extension. Or you don't really like. And then what you said with this hard cap, right? In this second apron, bro, they just cut Luka. They just cut Luka water by a hundo.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it's not. If you haven't negotiated with the second apron, you don't quite understand the stranglehold that it really puts on these teams. But for the teams, they kind of happy because they got what they ultimately wanted, which was a hard cap. And so, I just, like I said, I when I saw it, I just was like, man, he got to be really careful. You killing the market more and more each day. And it's already hard enough to trade somebody that make $50 million because just to make the money work, you have to give up so much, either a meaningful amount of guys or a star player, and so I just think, with already having challenges with, trying to trade a 50-some million dollar contract, you start adding all these things on, and I just think it can get real bleak. So I didn't take it any other way other than that.
And then I would say, like, what is your take on, like, how does that affect the locker room, right? If you watching as a player, and whether you're on the Lakers or the Warriors, and you keep hearing Jimmy Butler name, and you seeing what's happening in Miami. Shout out to Kevin Love, though. He has great commentary.
Hilarious.
Oh my God, dude. The commentary is great. But when you see stuff like that, and you see something like Miami becoming almost like entertainment, what they're not, right? How does that affect like talks in the locker room about, oh, Jimmy Butler coming here, or if people want him or not?
Every now and then you get a guy coming up to you like, yo, is this Jimmy thing real, or am I going to get traded, or X, Y, and Z? You get guys coming up every now and then, but for the most part, It don't come up a ton. Like, guys go on with their day status quo.
Yeah.
I will say, earlier today, before we started film, before the game, Steve acknowledged it. Like, yo, trade deadline, a lot going on. It's tough. Like, sorry that you guys have to go through this. Like, and just kind of how unsettling it is. It feels leading up to the trade deadline. You know, he acknowledged it. And I always applaud Steve on stuff like that. Like, Steve kind of always acknowledges the elephant in the room. And he was just saying, like, you know, Steve said, I was traded 5 times in 15 years, so I know how it feels, you know, and I never want any of you guys to go through that. But the reality is we're a 500 basketball team, so you can just never be too sure. But the best way, Steve had a good line. He said, we're in a very interesting business where we ask you guys to give your all to the team. For the better of the team, give your all, and we can up and trade you tomorrow. He's like, but the reality is you put yourself in the best position by giving your all to the team.
To the team.
You know, and so it's a very
it's oxymoron.
For sure, like a kind of a peculiar spot to be in. You know, just like like, man, I need to give my all to this franchise, give my all to this team, and then I can be traded tomorrow like Luka Doncic. You know, like, but nonetheless, like I said, I applaud Steve for acknowledging the elephant in the room and then also kind of sharing his own experience because that make it real. Like, nah, I know what this is. Like, I went through this 5 times, moving my family, like, and so I think that acknowledgement like goes a long way with guys, like where you just don't come in like, all right, here's film, and you know, all 15 of us on the trading block, like, you know, it's you know, so I applaud Steve for that. I think he handled that great today.
No, that's dope. That's dope. The thing is, you know, I was traded, I think, twice in my career. The first time I sat outside the GM's office and he was like, oh, trade deadline. We don't think we can move you. I was like, they got an extension. Take your ass back in there and get me up out of here. That's how I got to go to state from New Orleans. The second time was I was with the Clippers. And Benny the Snake Del Negro, Benny the Snake Del Negro, we had a meeting. And he said, man, we like what we see with Blake. Y'all doing the lives. Fans are excited. I know you've been banged up. You've been, you know, you've been playing hard for me because, yo, you've been playing hurt. You've been doing all this, man. We just want to like start monitoring you at the end of the year, start taking off your minutes, let some young guys play. You know, I was like, oh man, this is cool. He was like, so if you want to sit out the next game, you can sit out. The next game was in New Orleans. So I was like, man, I'm hurt. So I'm in the back and somebody goes, did you hear you were getting traded? I was like, hell no. Hey, bro, I had to walk on the bus. I got traded. I had to fly back with the team. I was in New Orleans. I saw my mom, my sister, and I was like, oh shit, I'm getting traded to Cleveland. So I had to fly back all the way. I had to fly back to LA with the team. And on the plane, it was just saying your goodbyes to everybody on the team.
That's
like, yeah, it was fucking wild.
That's crazy, but
like you don't even know. You don't know until like you're on the bus. You're like, damn, I am getting traded.
You might be the reason. You might be one of the reasons why a lot of teams that fly on Thursday, they push their flights back to like Thursday evening to avoid the awkward, to avoid like an awkward flight situation and somebody get traded.
Yeah, you know, it gave you a chance to get a coaching piece of your mind. Say what you got to say.
You ain't none of these young dudes saying nothing today.
Hey, bro, I was calm, cool, collective, and I let everybody know how I felt after 3 years of being there.
So what was some of the stuff you said?
Just basically, you know, a lot of lies. I had to tell a couple of the players, like, hey, bro, I'm being a good teammate, but when the summer comes, I'm gonna fuck you up. We're not teammates no more. So when I see you this summer, I bet not see you. It's on and cracking. I had to endure a lot with the Clippers, bro. I had to endure a lot. And then I told Vinny, you're a liar. I mean, Doug, the last thing we hate is a liar. And at the end of the day, your lies are gonna catch up to you. These players ain't gonna trust you, and you can't be a coach. You'll never win your players over when they know that you a snake. You know, that's that like a player know when they all in and they gonna ride or die for a coach. But if a coach is having peanut gallery meetings, sidebar with different people, man, players talk too.
That's a fact.
Even if players don't get along, players talk too. Because when that frustrating moment comes, they gonna air the coach out for pillow talking.
Yeah.
And so I just, I said my salutes, to people that was good to me, Jason Powell, a couple of coaches, but I did sit down with and give Vinny a piece of my mind and let him know, like, hey, this is how it is. These dudes ain't gonna never. I was just honest with him because it gave me a chance. Like, I'm out of here. Give me a chance to be honest with you. Like, you're gonna be next anyway, sucker. And it was off to Cleveland. But bro, not knowing you getting traded is ooh-wee. Like, imagine Luka, you waking up.
I heard AD.
To all them claws.
BD, I heard AD was like texting everybody, good win, great way to go out there and get that dub, like 20 minutes before it happened.
Hey, I saw a video and they took Max Christie name tag off the locker.
I saw that too. I think that's
I can think
that's standard practice. They come around, they take them all down at the visiting locker room.
With the makes sense. Yeah, but that was.
However,
it's like,
I did think it was a little like foreshadowing though, like with the name tag coming down. And then also, did you see that AD interview from like recently where he said to the guy like, "Man, you saying it like."
Yeah, you said like I'm on the trade block or something.
Like it was a little, definitely a little foreshadow going on there.
Oh. Man. All right, Dub Nation. They wanted to know what's happening with the Warriors. Obviously, our Dub Nation. The team is at the top of the news headlines where Shams is saying the Warriors are calling everyone to pair a superstar with you and Steph. Can you share exactly what the Warriors are looking for? And then when there are rumors like this, how unsettling is it in a locker room being the OG?
Like I said, I don't think it's very unsettling at all. We know what we signed up for. Every single one of us in that locker room know what we signed up for and playing this game and being a part of this business. So I don't think, like I said, I don't think anybody walk around like, man, y'all calling. The reality is, if they're calling for LeBron James, everybody in the locker room except Steph Curry should shut up and know that you can be traded. So if they're calling superstars, there's not a thing anyone in that locker room could say outside of 30. So to walk around unsettling because they're reaching out for superstars, you can fool yourself if you want to think that you can do something about that. Your stress ain't gonna help you at all. And so I don't think it's very unsettling at all. Now, it'd be one thing if it was like the Warriors are calling for a backup point guard, or like the Warriors are calling. Like, that's one thing. But calling on every superstar, the name of the game. Like, that's And so I don't,
especially right now.
Yeah, that's the name of the game. You should be calling on every superstar. So I don't think that has done anything in it hasn't even been mentioned in our locker room.
Messed up. The Warriors begin a 6-game road trip on Wednesday. I want to do something a little different. I want to talk storylines for each team instead of, usually how we talk matchups.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's start with Utah first. The Utah Jazz. This team is looking to keep drafting picks, right? They want the number 1 pick. Cooper Flag. Everybody is saying, how important is it for a franchise to get the number one pick coming in this draft? And what does that do for Utah with what they're doing?
It's very important for Utah to get the number one pick in this draft. Not to be racist, but Utah is very white. It's like a very white place. And
Yep.
so Cooper Flag, like, I'm sure they're looking at it as like their next great hope, you know? And that he'd fit in there. You know, he's from Maine, you know? And so I think that's kind of a match made in heaven, and I'm sure they're doing all that they can to try to get it, to make that match happen. I think for us, you know, they have some good NBA players on that team, and for us, we just got to make sure that we stay locked in. But you know, and going because you can easily go lose that game. We don't have any space to do that. But this is Danny Ainge. Like, Danny Ainge rebuilt the Boston Celtics that we know as we know today off of this same exact strategy. And he's proven that he can do it. I think he'll do it again, but it's very important for them to get the number one draft because they can't pay anybody to come to Utah.
Right.
So you got to get the number one pick because they can't pay a number one pick talent to come to Utah.
No.
Can't pay them enough.
They not getting one of them superstars that land in
0% chance.
They could get Jimmy Butler, though. He could wind up in Utah as the last resort.
Yeah.
He don't want to go there, bro.
He gonna send Bernie and Pat Offers like Jimmy not signing an extension with Utah.
He gonna really have that emo hair, them emo bangs in Utah. He gonna be a super emo. All right, next is the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously, the new look Lakers being here in LA. Luka won't be playing. Most likely, he won't return until February 8th. Talk about the Lakers as a threat. Talk about the Lakers right now without Luka. You know, they won, I think, 4. They went 4-1 without AD. How dangerous are the Lakers, you know, from now and then the next 5 to 10 years?
I mean, now you have LeBron James and Luka Doncic. You're dangerous. Can you figure it out? Can you figure everything out around them? The defensive side of the ball, losing a rim protector like AD, all of those things. You have to figure those things out. But they got LeBron James and Luka Doncic. They always have a chance to win the game.
Yeah.
For the next 5 to 10 years, I think, you know, they're in a great spot as far as getting a Luka, and complete opposite of what the problem that Utah has is the Lakers can get people to sign there. You know, you can get people to come sign in LA. And so they have the opposite issue of the Utah Jazz when it comes to that. But in saying that, the next 5 to 10 years looks great. But it all depends on Luka's health. You know, Luka's health will be the driver of what the Lakers look like in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, we need Luka to have one of them Venice Beach bodies. He got to go out there, you know, and get on Venice Beach. We need Luka with his muscle beach body. All right, next team, one of the teams that you love most and value their expertise. The Chicago Bulls just traded away Zach. There are reports that they're trying to get rid of Vukovic, and he's the lone guy on the team who will get moved in the next few days. There's also reports that they may get off of Lonzo Ball. Talk about Chicago. They look like they're doing a swap meet, fire sale. What do they look like?
Fire sale for sure. I think they're all in on Josh Giddey as their franchise player.
You think?
I mean, that's what it looked like. Their franchise player to get them to the top of the lottery, at least. You know, but you know, Chicago's. I'm done. They're trash.
Done, dude. Come on.
The organization moving along,
moving right along. All right. Next up is the Bucks. Now this is a game that I do want to discuss. They kind of got it together. You know, I think I lit a fire under Doc Rivers and the team. I asked you what it was like to guard AD and Joker. What is it like to guard Giannis, dude?
You have to be ready to go each play. And you have to be ready to use your forearm, or else he's going to put a shoulder in your chest every play, and you will fall, and they will not call it. So, just forceful, man. It's the force that Giannis plays the game with. Obviously, he's a freak athlete, no pun intended. But just the force that he plays with, like no one can really stop that force. And it's hard to prepare for it because I'm not sure any other player in the league outside of LeBron James in his prime plays with that type of force getting downhill. And so with Giannis, you just it's a group effort. You got to build walls. You can't just let him see gaps. He's going to get right through those gaps and he's dunking the ball. So you just got with Giannis, you have to meet force with force.
Yeah, I mean that thing, a man and a half, he got to see a body and a half. That makes so much sense with a dude like that because he is unapologetic about knocking people over, dunking on them. I like Giannis. He a mean dude.
Yeah.
He's a great guy, but he play mean.
You see him and CP get into it the other night?
No.
Him and CP got into it. Him and CP got into it the other
night. That's funny.
Yeah, they got into it the other night. So
I gotta check him out.
But yeah, no, he applying constant pressure for sure. Following the Bucks are the revamped Mavericks. Their potential starting lineup includes Kyrie, Clay, PJ, Washington, AD, and Gafford. Stephen A. said this is the number one team in the West now. Do you agree?
Oh, no. I mean, shit, we don't know. It sound good.
Yeah.
Right? It looked good. But we don't know how they about to rock. Talent-wise, what they did as far as like on paper, putting that squad together, like you can say they're a number one seed. When you look at who's the number one seed, OKC, like Dallas can beat OKC.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas can beat Houston. Yeah, Dallas can beat Houston. Dallas can beat Minnesota. Yeah. So they have the talent. They got the lineup. It's really going to be what that chemistry feel like.
Mm-hmm. And Kyrie adjusting back to being a point guard.
And AD adjusting to be a 4.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a lot of adjusting going on.
Because playing the 4 in the NBA today is not the same thing as playing the 4 or 5 years ago. It's two totally different positions.
Yep. And he's been saying, every year in LA, hey man, I don't want to play the 5. I don't want to play the 5. I don't want to be a 5. Find me a center that I can rock with. The Lakers was at their championship best when I was playing the 4. Talk about the difference, because you do this a lot. You play 4, you go to 5, you play the whole season at 5. Talk about the difference now and what that 4 position is versus the 5 in the league.
The 4 is totally different now. A lot of times you could be guarding just a shooter or a wing that's staged as a 4. It's not really like, when I came into the league, man, I had to guard LaMarcus Aldridge, Zebo, Blake Griffin. The list,
hard hats.
Yeah, the list goes on and on, right? Like these were the 4s in the league then. Like you don't really have that now. Like everybody who's like that now has been converted into a stretch 5 or a 5 that, that can shoot the 3. And so it's just a completely different position, man. Rebounding is different because you're like 4s are used to banging down low. You using your forearms and then all of a sudden the rebound come off and you're fighting wedging for position. Now, as a 4, you got to rebound in space because your guy's on the wing. So now you got to leave that paint to go hit the guy and you rebounding in space, and it's a totally different thing. So I just think the position requires a totally different mindset. It requires a totally different game than it did before.
The last game before All-Star Weekend features the number 2 seed Houston Rockets. I called that at the beginning of the year. Remember that.
You did. You said they was just sleeping.
They've been looking great so far. There's been a lot of talk about how impressive Amin Thompson is. You called that one. He just got a triple-double against the Knicks, hit his first game winner against the Celtics. We're starting to see he can do it all. Do you think he has the potential to become a superstar in this league?
So I think Amin Thompson, I said this last year about both of them, actually. I think they special, man. They are special young guys. They work their ass off. They're respectful. I got a lot of love and respect for them. They from the town. And every time we play against them, they come up to me and they like, man, Draymond, good to see you, man. I appreciate everything you did for the town. They remind you I'm from Oakland. We grew up watching y'all. Like, y'all motivated us to want more. We had these goals when we were young that we put together, and in large part due to, like, we were watching y'all. Yeah. And, man, to have young guys come up to you and say stuff like that, like, it's so special, man. And I'm last year when nobody was on the Amen and Asar train, I said, yo, I know everybody talking about what they doing offensively, but have y'all watched these guys? Like,
they can move.
They can move, man. Defensively, they cover up so many mistakes for people. And their own mistakes, they can just recover. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I do think he can be a superstar. Because it ain't gonna all be about scoring. And yet, I think Amen has incredible ball skills. I think he and his brother need to develop their jump shots. But I have zero doubt that they will because they work so hard. And so I know they'll develop the jump shots. And when they do, good luck. But in saying that, I do think he's capable of becoming a superstar. It's the reason they both were top 5 picks in the NBA draft, because they have superstar potential. And I definitely think Amen can become one. Special talent.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
All-Star snubs. Let's talk about these all-star snubs. All-star as a whole before we get out of here. Who do you think is the biggest all-star snub from the East? Who do you think is the biggest all-star snub from the West? And you can only pick one of each.
I am upset with the NBA and the basketball community over the All-Star weekend. How the hell does LaMelo Ball, the face of the league, the energy of the league, bringing culture to the league, brother got the #1 album, trick plays, exciting times. Like, this dude is the personality we need in the All-Star game. This is the type of game we need in the All-Star game. This dude goes from the #1 vote getter to getting snubbed. Are you kidding me? How the coaches don't vote? I mean, I was in this predicament. I hit LaMelo out because I was in this predicament a lot where it's like, oh, you got to win. Or like, what the fuck? Are you an all-star? Are you nice? Put the nicest dudes on the court and stop making all these goddamn concessions for somebody who play basic ball on a better team, and can get stats because they got better people around them. LaMelo Ball, I'm pissed off. Somebody better put LaMelo Ball on this all-star team. And then I would say on the West, Luka. How the fuck don't you have Luka on? What are we doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know. Are we turning this shit into like AAU and, just because I don't know about this coaching voting, like where the coaches head, like we want to see the superstars and people who are having great years, not people who are having great years on good teams. And no, you're not an all-star. You don't have all-star game. Get the fuck up out of here. Give me the show. Give me the entertainment. That's why I want to go to All-Star, right? I want to see LaMelo. I want to see Luka, right? we're buying those people's jerseys. How do you have? I mean, come on, man. Like, shit. All right. I got the LaMelo Ball shit pissed me off. When I was in Charlotte and being in a city like Charlotte, you kind of like in limbo, right? And so, somebody like LaMelo looking at his situation saying, look, I'm doing all I can do, right? I'm trying to be the face of the league. I'm putting on for Charlotte. What do I have behind me to compliment me, right? Or if the town ain't big enough to support what I'm doing. Like, I made the All-Star game in Charlotte. Like, I got snubbed in Golden State. But when you're in Charlotte, you got to be winning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they got to put together a winner behind him. But somebody like Melo right now, he probably like, yo, what the hell is going? Like, is anything can happen, right? Anything can happen. And now with this Luka thing, you're gonna have these young superstars saying, shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
I agree. And I think even if you take it a step further and look at Fox, who said, I'm not signing an extension. And y'all know where I want to go, and got there. Right? So again, you know what I look at? Representation.
Yes.
Representation
is the key.
Largely determines how you are operated with, how you are viewed, how you are dealt with in this league, your representation. If you have representation that's going to get ran over, forget about it.
It ain't going to work.
LaMelo Ball not being an all-star, being in the position that he's in, is also a product of LaMelo's Ball. And I don't know who LaMelo Ball agent is, but I do know all of this stuff that's happened, him getting snubbed, all that, is a product of representation.
Bro, yes,
period.
You should not. He was the leading all-star vote getter. I still think he is the most exciting young player. I mean, he's my favorite player, bro. I can't even lie. Anytime he hooping, I'm tuning in. The kids is tuning in. And like, to have, like, you came into the season, you got all this buzz, to not capture that, for the team to not capture that, right? It's almost like, if I'm the Hornets, I got to stand up and fight for this kid and push this kid, because from an organizational standpoint, you need that.
1,000%.
You need that. You need that for a free agent. You need that for, like, yo, you should be showcasing the shit out of this kid.
Listen, BD, LaMelo Ball is proper representation away from a great situation and a perennial all-star, and possibly, and I think he's capable and could be, the face of the league. He will not be either one of those three things without proper representation. Period. Like I said, nobody's going to be like, yo, LaMelo Ball was snubbed. He ain't got proper representation. Again, I don't know who his agent is, but I'd bet my bottom dollar he don't have great representation. And when you don't have great representation, people do whatever they want to do to you. That's just the facts. In this league, you don't have great representation. People handle you however they want to handle you. And I think that's one of the reasons LaMelo Ball got snubbed.
Man, if you want somebody that's going to be all in the videos, all in the executive director's office, all on the PR person heels, come to the Draymond show.
You know what I'm saying?
We get you right.
Come to the show. We'll give you the gems here. Because I guarantee you, not one person in LaMelo's camp called and said, man, this is also a product of your representation. We'll give you the gems over here, baby. Come to the Draymond Green show with my dog BD. Give him the isms. The isms. Speaking of which, on All-Star, by the way, All-Star in San Francisco, I got Steph Curry for MVP.
Yes, me too. No question. We need that. Man, we need to, the Bay got to turn up.
The Bay got to turn up for All-Star.
Listen, it's been 20 years. They did. I mean, now, thank the Lord for y'all, for what y'all did and how y'all put on the Bay. Like, if that don't happen, the Bay don't get no All-Stars.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
It's been 20 years. We got to show up. We got tech. We got music. We got the Warriors, the champs, right? We got legacy. I think the Bay just need to show up. Like everybody show up, show out. You know, All-Star Weekend, we got to put on for the city. We can't be, we can't be just going for the pop culture.
No, I agree, and I think this is
Pop culture.
This is an opportunity too, because All-Stars haven't been great like over the last 5 years, and so this is an opportunity for the Bay to have like the best one in recent memory, and also bring All-Star Weekend back because it's a little. It's been a little challenged, you know what I'm saying? And so I think, but it's also been in tough cities. It was snowing like crazy in Indianapolis last year.
Gosh.
It was snowing like crazy the year before that in Cleveland, you know, and so, or Indianapolis. Yeah,
before that.
Yeah, like
in Cleveland, Utah.
It was snowing in Utah, right? So, like, this is an opportunity, great city, to bring All-Star Weekend back to where All-Star Weekend was before.
Yep.
And I think the Bay got to say, and I'm looking forward to it.
Come on, Bay. Let's go.
Speaking of the Bay,
run it.
A couple more things Bay Area related. I finally saw the preview of the Warriors alumni three-point contest. I know you can't tell us who won, but how did that come together?
Shout out to the Warriors. They invited me out for a three-point shootout. I think it was Starry. With the NBA.
Oh, so you get money.
As you see,
money.
As you see, they had me, Chris Mullin, one of the greatest three-point shooters of all time and shooters, Mitch Richmond, The Rock. I mean, we was just doing it was almost like shooting golf. You know, it was just walking, laughing, and then they set me up, Dre. I'm going to tell you this. They set me up. Young fella, you go first. Like, bro, I'm young.
I ain't that young.
I'm young. But I need to warm up too. But hey, baby, I need to warm up. Let me get young fella. Go ahead. Young fella got it. And look at Tim. Tim was over there. Tim was over there. He wanted to get to his cigar. But it was a fun time, man. As y'all know, I'm shooting against real NBA legends, and Chris Mullin is, I tell you this, Chris Mullin.
He still got a ratchet.
When I used to work out for We Believe when I got hurt, Chris Mullin and Mitch Richmond, when I was training in LA, they moved to LA for 3 weeks, and we worked out at Mr. Jackson's house.
Wow.
So I worked out with Mully and Mitch like the 3 weeks I needed to get back to We Believe, and we'd be in the gym every day. So I had to shoot against these dudes, do all their shooting drills. Oh, man, that was probably one of the best times that I ever had because I got to work out with legends. I got to train with legends. And, I mean, we was after it every day. And I tell you, dude, Chris Mullin do not like losing. Especially, and he's not losing those shooting games. So, like, me trying to come back and get my shot right and Chris shooting his left shot, I think that was a big reason when I came back from We Believe, how we took off and propelled. Because I was just I was in flow and rhythm, and Chris Mullin just shot my lights out. So stay tuned, because who knows? Who knows?
My
who wins?
God. Nah, yeah, I'll be tuned in to see who wins. But yeah, Mully still. I'm sure Mully can still shoot that thing.
Mully got a clip, bro.
I'm sure.
All right, man. An All-Star Weekend wouldn't be an All-Star Weekend without announcements. I want to first make an announcement and say congratulations to my dog for opening up Meski, a ritzy Ethiopian Dominican fusion restaurant. That's 1000 Larkin Street and Lower Knob Hill this March. Hey, it's up. Come on, Meski. Tell me about Meski.
You know what?
What we doing?
Hey, we lit first off. It's gonna be great food. It's gonna be great vibes. The drinks are gonna be incredible. Like,
Incredible.
it's a bar forward restaurant. The whole idea kind of came with a bar forward restaurant. Like, we want that to be a thing. It's going to be great tunes. But more importantly, bringing some Black culture back to San Francisco. You know, this is a city that used to be Black culture. And now there's no Black culture in this city.
Right.
And so just really wanting to bring some of our culture back here. Like, if you want to go to a spot and experience some Black culture, but have a great meal, have a great, good, clean, fun, safe, like, that's what we're trying to bring back here, you know?
Yeah, it's a class thing. You want to, like, be able to catch a vibe.
Absolutely.
Like a real vibe.
Absolutely. You know, and so for me, partnering, you know, Guma, a good friend of mine, Guma Fasil, he brought the idea to me like a year and a half ago. And you know, we were kind of scouting venues. We've been looking at venues for the last year and a half. And every time that we like, dang, that ain't it. You know, he kind of go radio silent. I'm like, all right, I guess we ain't doing it. And then he come back like, yo, I found these venues. I'm this much further in our planning and this thing and that thing, like just working head down. And then we went to, my wife and I went to a concert. No, we went to see Martin Lawrence at Oracle. And afterward, Hayes was like, man, where can we go in Oakland? Like, get a drink, get some food, something. So we asked Guma. Guma lives in Oakland. And he was like, oh, man, we can go to Sobre Mesa. And in turn, we go there, we're having drinks, we're eating, and Chef Nelson comes up to the table. Chef Nelson has 2 restaurants in Oakland. And he comes up to the table, we're kicking it, we're chopping it up with him. He comes back to the table. And then him and Guma proceeds to have a conversation, and now Chef Nelson is our partner in the restaurant as well.
Bingo, come on.
And so Chef Nelson with his Dominican background, Guma's Ethiopian. We got an Ethiopian Dominican fusion restaurant.
Love that.
And like I said, it's going to be great food. It's usually hard to nail the vibe and the food. You usually can get one or the other. We want to make sure that this is a restaurant that you come into where you know you're getting a great meal, you know you're getting great drinks, you know you're getting great service, you're going to have a great time.
I love that, man. San Francisco need that. Let's go to Mesquite. We own.
Yes, sir.
Ethiopian Dominican fusion. Man, shout out to you, bro, for putting on for the city, for bringing culture to the city, because, you know, I'll be up in the city every week, and we need that. San Francisco need that. The Bay Area need that. Like, that's what the Bay Area is known for, is our culture, is for our diversity. So shout out to you.
Appreciate it, brother.
The grand opening, we got to be there. Dub Nation, we got to show up. We got to run it up.
Yes, sir. And we most definitely going to do that. Make sure you get the invite, my brother. We set it out how we supposed to set it out. Make sure y'all come out, check it out. We're going to have a good time. We're going to eat some good food. But until next time, that's a wrap from this episode of the Draymond Green Show with the OGBD. Appreciate you, my brother.
Love
y'all.
Dub.
Peace.
Peace. Love y'all, Dub Nation.